Hi, everyone. Welcome to Next Step Screenplay Series or Die Trying. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to get started at 7:15. We're going to start the show. But if I can ask you, if you please claim your seats. We just want to know how many seats we have left for the audience. So if I can just make sure, if you can claim a seat where you're at. We can keep tally. Thank you.
Random. Random mic check. Random mic check. This mic is also random. If I was a narrator, I would sit here.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Next Step Screenplay Series or Die Trying. We're going to begin the show. So if you can slowly make your way to your seats. My name is Kimberly DiPersia. I'm the artistic director of all the Line Studio and Incubator. And we've been doing these Next Step Screenplay Series readings here at Binks since September of 2023. So like we're over a year, almost a year and a half, which is fantastic. And thank you to so many of you that have come to our show. Raise your hand if you have not been to a Next Step Screenplay Series show. Cool. All right. Welcome. So Next Step is designed as the next step between writing a screenplay and getting a feature-length screenplay produced. So a lot of times writers write a script. It just sits, in their desktop computer, or they print it out, shove it in a drawer. What happens next? Well, this is designed as a type of workshop. So our actors are rehearsed. They are on book, so they have scripts in hand, but we have music and sound, and we have some blocking and stage, and lots of acting, wonderful acting happening on stage to visualize this script for the screenwriter. And afterwards, we'll have a Q&A with the screenwriter as well. Tonight is special because we have this is an adapted screenplay. It's based on a graphic novel by Viola, who's here today in the audience. Yes. And our writer, Tony Taylor, is also here as well. So, yeah. A huge shout out to Michael F. Lewis, who is doing all the magic of our sound and music and all of that. Jeffrey Rembert in the back, who is our curator for Next Step. So he reads through all the scripts and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's me. Yes, and I directed this. So we do this last Monday of every month. Our next month is going to be slightly different. We're going to be doing the first 10 pages. So we're going to take a bunch of different scripts, and we're going to cold read them on stage with actors. And afterwards, you can vote on your favorite one, and we'll end up producing that as a next step later in the year. So in the Hollywood industry, usually that first 10 pages is the selling point, right? So the writer wants to make those first 10 pages exciting. So that's what we're doing here. Also, in your books, we have a brand new pitch portal that we started for All the Line. So this is a place where if you want to support our upcoming projects, you can go online. We're fiscally sponsored through Fractured Atlas, so all your donations are tax deductible, which is great. You can write those off. We have 3 films we're shooting next month for the OIF Blaze Challenge. So there are 9 different short films, a drama, a sci-fi, and a rom-com. You can learn all about them, and you can say, I want to donate to this one, I want to donate to whichever one, it doesn't matter, I just want to support. Go ahead and check that out. There's a QR code. You can also just check it out on our website as well. We have all of that info too. Now, there is a slightly interactive part of the show for just about half of our audience. So the premise of this is that these women have woken up in their village, all the men are missing, and so they go on an adventure to find their men. So, what, Doug? Doug said that's why it's a fantasy novel. So, what I need, there's going to be 2 points in the show, and this is just for the men in the room. When you get directed, you will all, and we're going to test this out, stand up. That's all you got to do. Stand up. It's very, very simple. That is all you have to do, and then we'll tell you to sit back down. There's 2 points in the show. We have 2 acts. We have half of the show, then we'll do a 10-minute intermission, and then we'll finish the show with the second act. There's 1 directive in the first one, 1 directive in the second one. We will let you know when that is. Simple. Stand up, sit down when we tell you. So, okay, great. Now, without further ado, we have an amazing cast for you. I'm so proud of what they've created tonight. And Next Step Screenplay Series presents Or Die Trying.
We pan across a naked Kendra, a woman in her mid-20s laying on a mat on the dirt ground. Only her leg lies exposed above the sewn blanket covering her. Kendra...
Hello? Anyone?
Kendra raises her head. Her naked arm reaches beside her. But there is nothing.
Gorfun? Gorfun!
Kendra raises up from the mat and grabs her clothing from beside her. Cut 2. Exterior outside hut, morning. Other women run past her. Smoke permeates the air. Parts of the village are on fire.
Where are the men? Sheena, what is happening? Have you seen Gorfun? Where is your man?
I don't know. I don't know. All the men are gone, and some villager, they burned up our village.
How is that possible?
No one seemed to know anything.
We have got to put these fires out or we will lose the entire village. Come with me. We've got to gather the others to the river with buckets and whatever else we can find. Quickly. Come with me.
Kendra and Sheena start grabbing other women to help them. Exterior, outside in the village, early morning. Smoke is still thick in the air. The fires are out. A large gathering of women stand next to a large boulder. Kendra makes her way through the crowd. The women part, creating a path for her to follow. Kendra climbs to the top of the boulder and looks down on the distraught women.
We have saved our village, and each of you has shown bravery that would make your men proud. But now there are questions we have to answer. Where are the men? What has happened that would make all of them disappear? All of our men are great warriors, not easily bound. This has to be some kind of sorcery.
What can we do?
I know what I'm going to do. I am going to find Gorfun and the rest. If any of you want to join me, gather what weapons you can find and supplies. We will meet here tomorrow before sunrise. I know that many of you have never ventured beyond our village. I don't know what's out there, but we do know what is not here. We must find our men!
Interior Kendra's hut. Kendra enters her hut and is followed by Callie.
You and your little one can have the bedding. I'll be fine against the wall.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to stay.
You have nothing to thank me for. The fires took many homes. Mine is yours while I'm gone. Now, you can stay as long as you wish.
And we will rebuild. At least we'll rebuild and do the best we can given the circumstances. We have to.
Callie sits down on the bedding with her little one. Kendra sits down against a wall and closes her eyes.
Are you afraid? Nobody knows what's out there.
Our men are out there. Gorfun is out there. Your brother is out there. We can't be afraid. Love knows no fear.
Kendra opens her eyes and looks over at the bedding where Callie is sitting. Callie fades away. Appearing before her eyes are both she and Gorfun, a 30-something man. They are making love. The kisses are passionate, and their bodies move in unison. Kendra then sees Gorfun holding her, and she closes her eyes again. Exterior, the large boulder, sunrise. Kendra stands atop of the boulder from the previous day. 3 women stand below.
So we are 4. Before I entrust my life in this quest to any of you, I need to know what you can contribute.
I am called Yoli. I think explaining ourselves is a waste of time. Looking around at our numbers, I don't think we have the luxury to pick and choose. Is it not enough that we are here and willing to leave our village? But if you must know what I can contribute, I'm one of the finest archers in the land.
I am Elwyn. I'm a tracker, and I can track anything that moves so long as the trail is not too cold. But with each step, with each moment, our trail grows colder.
And what of you?
I am Risa. I'm a tavern
A
wench.
tavern wench?
As mentioned before, picking and choosing is not an option. Go on, Risa.
I have a horse and wagon with enough provisions for a long journey. I can cook.
Quite necessary.
Agreed?
But more importantly, I am eager to learn the skills we need for this quest. I want to help.
That leaves only you.
I am a warrior. I have killed too many to remember for reasons too silent to be uttered. My man Gorfun fought side by side with me. We did not question the wisdom we were for hire. But then, well, it ended for the both of us, and we settled here.
Impressive.
Here is what I propose. Yoli, could you teach Risa how to use the bow? Elwyn, would that relieve any of your doubts about Risa?
I suppose.
I will do that.
Kendra steps down from the boulder.
On this day, we make our swear to one another. We will find our men and bring them home. Or die trying. Do you swear this with me?
I swear.
I swear.
I swear.
Gather what you need.
Exterior, the path out of the village, afternoon. A path stretches before us. A line of the women of the village stand on either side. A wooden gate and wall lie at the end of the path, revealing the entrance and exit of the village. Risa drives a large wagon pulled by horses. She is staring back at the village.
Risa, are you ready?
I'm ready.
The three women move forward. Risa starts the horses to pull the wagon behind them. We watch, along with the women of the village, as they exit through the gates. Fade in. Exterior path, later afternoon. Risa's wagon and the three women continue down the path. Time passes. As they turn a bend, the figure of an elderly woman, Miranda, stands ahead. She is holding a staff with a large globe at its top. The women and the wagon stop.
Please come forward. I mean no harm. I wish only to help you. I know your quest. Your men await.
Thoughts?
What have we got to lose? We are already wandering around and aimlessly moving forward with no direction.
Not true. I've been studying the ground. A large group has already traveled this path. It has to be our men.
You're sure?
I am sure.
Risa, stay here with the supplies.
Cautiously, Kendra, Elwyn, and Yoli move towards Miranda. They reach Miranda.
How do you know of our quest?
I am Miranda of the Wood. All that transpires throughout this forest is known to us.
Then you can tell us what has happened to the men of our village and where we are to go to find them.
I can only tell you what has been whispered to me by the wood.
And what is that?
You seek your men. They have told me you are to take this staff. Further down, you will meet a man with mystical insight as to what you seek.
How will we know this man?
The globe on this staff will light up when it is near its twin. He will be in its possession, and as he is one of us, he will find you. That is all.
Miranda offers the staff to Kendra.
Take it. It's all we have to go on.
Come with us to find this man.
I am only allowed to offer this small amount of assistance.
Certainly you can tell us more.
I only obey the whispers. In time, you will have what you need. I must leave you now as the darkness is approaching. Remember, he will have the same staff and he will find you.
Miranda turns and steps into the thick forest beside the path. Her form evaporates amongst the trees and brush.
Who was she? Can we trust her?
I can't answer those questions, but I know one thing. Ellen said we are headed in the right direction.
These tracks prove that so.
The old woman's knowing of our guests, of our quest, says to me that the gods show favor. Let's go on a little further and then rest.
Yoli motions Risa to move the wagon forward. Exterior, a wooded clearing, night. Kendra, Elwin, and Yoli sit around a campfire. Holding a pot, Risa spoons out a stew-like food onto their plates. Risa finishes by serving herself and sitting down. Kendra eats a portion.
Risa, this is magnificent. Good job. Now that we are settled, I would love to know more about yourselves. I think our force will only be greater if we know of each other more.
I'll go first then. I am not from these parts, but my master Baylock is.
Cut 2. Exterior, boat on the sea, day. Flashback. A man, Baylock, looking like a wizard in appearance, stands at the front of the boat. The boat comes ashore to land. Baylock steps out of the boat.
Baylock has always been more at home on the sea. 2 years ago, he arrived at my village on the other side of the sea. His arrival can only be interpreted as answer to my prayers. The son of the village elder, Krunik, had chosen me to be his wife. Krunik was a cruel and horrible man.
Cut 2. Interior, inside of a hut, night. Flashback. Krunik, a warrior-type man, and Yoli sit at a table at dinner. Krunik slams his utensil down and slaps Yoli across the face, knocking her out of her chair. He then dumps the contents of the plate on top of her head and stands up. Krunik begins to kick Yoli. As she is kicked, Yoli eyes her bow against the wall of the hut across from her. Krunik stops his kicking her.
Get off the ground. You know who I am. My father is the elder. I deserve better than this slop. I don't even know what I see in you.
In pain, Yoli crawls across the floor towards her bow.
Do you know what you deserve?
And what is that?
To die.
Against her pain, Yoli leaps forward and grabs her bow.
I can count the bruises no more.
Aiming her bow at Krunik, Yoli fires an arrow straight into Krunik's heart. Krunik falls to the ground, dead. Cut 2. Exterior woods, night. Flashback. Yoli runs through the woods.
I knew that I could no longer stay at my village no more. I had killed the elder son. Surely the next death was to be my own. I fled my village with only my bow, not knowing where I would end up or what was out there. After a time of continual running, I felt the ground below me split open. I fell down into a pit meant for some animal.
Interior. Night. Flashback. Yoli tries unsuccessfully to scale the walls of the pit. Realizing she is trapped, Yoli kneels to the ground.
Time passed. I don't know how long I was in there. And then I heard voices. I cried out for help.
Do you hear it?
3 men clad in furs.
I hear something.
They appeared over the edge of the pit. A rope was lowered. I grabbed onto the rope and I was pulled out.
Yoli grabs the lowered rope and her bow and is raised out of the pit. Yoli reaches the opening and lifts herself out. She then steps away from the men. They are hunters, almost middle-aged. Large swords stay at their sides.
What is your name, girl?
I am called Yoli.
Yoli. How about losing that bow and arrow?
His hand pulls out his sword from his sheath at his side. Yoli slides her bow and arrows slowly off her shoulder and onto the ground beside her.
That's good. Now push them away from you.
Yoli does as she is told.
That's good. Smart girl. And aren't you the pretty one? Much prettier than a trapped bear. And much more obedient. Seems we have something different on our plates this evening, but I don't think we'll be bringing this one home.
What should we do with her then?
I've gotten lost from the others that are in my party, and at this very moment, they are probably scouring this forest looking for me as they speak. They will surely find this place.
Yeah. Is that so? Over here, we have found her. We have found her. Yoli is here. I'm guessing they're not as close as we think they are. But you know what I think we should do while we wait for them? Strip off your clothes.
At this point, the other two hunters have their swords drawn. Yoli removes her top and drops it to the ground. Out of the corner of her eye, she looks towards her bow.
I know what we shall do while we wait.
Hunter number 1 begins to move towards Yoli. Yoli scrambles for her bow, but she isn't fast enough. Interior wood clearing, night. Yoli's face is illuminated by the flickering campfire.
Each of them had their way with me. Afterwards, I was left naked and carried off to a boat. I only remember the sound of crashing waves and my body baking in the sun. I set out to sea. Time passed, and then they threw me overboard and left me to die. I don't remember anything after that. Only that I woke up.
Cut to exterior boat on the sea, day, flashback. Yoli lies on the deck of a boat. Her eyes open to a pair of feet beside her. She looks up, and it is Balak. Balak leans down and covers Yoli with a blanket. He runs his fingers through her hair. Exterior, a wooded clearing, night.
Balak was my savior that day. And I will do all that is in my power to get him back.
Yoli picks up her bow and aims it off into the distance.
I can fire 7 arrows and hit my target before anyone else can draw a sword. Because of Balak, I am the finest archer in the land.
Kendra looks over at Elwyn.
I'll go next. As you all know, I have lived in our village all my life. You also know Iliam Gethard and how excellent a swordsman he is. I have loved Iliam since I was a child.
Exterior, outside, day, flashback. A group of children stand in a circle around a young Iliam and another young boy as they fight with wooden swords. They exchange blows, and young Iliam extends his left leg, tripping the young boy to the ground. Young Iliam holds his wooden sword to the young boy's throat. The children react, and young Iliam looks over at a young Elwyn and smiles. Exterior, blacksmith area, night, flashback. A young Elwyn is holding a sword in a defensive stance. Across from her is a young Iliam, who is also holding a sword.
Iliam taught me how to fight.
Now, like I showed you, come at me.
Elwyn's face contorts, and like lightning, she lunges at Iliam. Without hesitation, Iliam knocks the sword out of her hands, and it falls to the ground. We then see a series of sword plays between Iliam and Elwyn, with Iliam always winning. But as the scenes continue, Iliam's triumphs take longer to obtain. In the last of the scenes between Elwyn and Iliam, Elwyn repeats the same move as earlier by tripping Iliam and him falling to the ground, dropping his sword. Elwyn kicks the sword away from Iliam and holds her blade to his neck. Iliam smiles as Elwyn helps him to his feet. They embrace and kiss. Dissolve 2. Exterior blacksmith area, day, flashback. Elwyn enters. Across from her, Iliam is looking at 2 swords in each of his hands.
He made these two swords for me.
Hold those.
Elwyn takes the swords. She checks how they feel in her hands.
The swords were lightweight, but strong. Then he taught me how to use them together.
We see a series of sword fights between Iliam and Elwyn, using 2 swords each. They move like lightning. Cut 2. Exterior, a wood clearing, night.
He taught me well.
And you're also a tracker.
It was my father, a hunter, that showed me the secrets of tracking. I can track anything that moves so long as the trail is not too cold. Both my father and Ilium are missing. Ilium and I were trying to have a child.
And what of you, Risa?
Unlike the two of you, I am ashamed to say that I have not much to offer except that I can cook, and I'm wise with provisions. I'm eager to learn. I need to help.
And what is this need?
I have given many of the men in the tavern pleasure, but I've only felt pleasure with one, and he is missing. It's very important that I find Dresner.
There is more that you are not telling us.
My mother left long ago. I was raised by my aunt. I told my aunt that I would be going on your quest, and she was silent. All my life, my aunt has had visions. She told me that if we go to Lyra, Lyra would know how to help.
And who is Lyra?
I'm told she's my spiritual protectress. I have felt her presence all my life. I'm not sure where to find her or how, but Aunt Christine told me we would find Lyra. Aunt Christine's visions are always true.
Yoli turns to Kendra.
And now, the only mystery is you.
As I've said before, Gorfin and I are fierce warriors. Our skills at death are well known outside of the village. And we have contracted our talents for payment. We have killed too many to remember, and it was our last contract that changed us forever.
Cut to interior, large throne-like room. Night. Flashback. Gorfin and Kendra stand in a large, extravagantly decorated chamber. A well-dressed older man, Amadeus, enters.
I am sure both of you know who I am.
You are Amadeus Matthias. Your wealth and power is known throughout the lands. I am told you are a serious man. That's why we are here.
Our services are needed, apparently.
Indeed.
Tell us then.
There is a certain merchant ship who is long overdue on a debt who owes me. It seems he feels that the success of his endeavors make him immune to repayment of the debt.
I am sure you have made him aware of that debt being due.
This is true. However, all I get with each inquiry are empty excuses.
It seems with all your wealth and power that the payment could be extracted easily.
That may very well be so, but there will be something missing.
And what would that be?
A message. Already I feel others are being emboldened to defy me of what I'm owed. This means to be corrected in the harshest of ways.
You want us to kill him.
Based on your reputations, I need something more. I want you to slaughter him. I want his head brought back to me to display before those others. Not only that, I want everyone associated with him to know no mercy. I want this place of business burned to the ground.
And in return,
I will reward the both of you quite handsomely.
Amadeus moves across the room. From a table drawer, he removes a small silk bag. Amadeus returns to Gorfin and Kendra. He opens the bag, and several gems spill into the palm of his hand.
Consider this a down payment.
Amadeus returns the gems to the bag and hands the bag to Gorfin.
Upon receiving his head, there will be more.
consider it done.
Now listen closely. Everyone with him must feel your blades. No exceptions. This is a contract. Everyone.
Understood.
Josiah.
A young man in his early 20s, Josiah, enters the room.
This is my son, Josiah. He will accompany you to help.
We have no need of his help.
Indulge me.
What we do, we answer to no man.
My son understands this.
Stay out of our way and do what you were told.
I am at your service, but you will need to know locations and those involved.
You just show us our destination. If everyone is to die, faces are not important.
We have a contract.
Exterior, outside of Amadeus' house, night, flashback. On horses, Kendra, Gorfun, and Josiah depart. Cut to exterior boat harbor, night, flashback. Kendra, Gorfun, and Josiah dismount from the horses. The three stare at the structure built just off the water.
He isn't there.
Gorfun and Kendra look at one another and start to approach the structure.
Wait. You should know he is guarded.
No matter.
Josiah holds back. He watches Kendra and Gorfun approach the door. Cut to interior structure, night, flashback. Gorfun and Kendra draw swords. When they reach the entry doors, Gorfun and Kendra kick in the doors. They are met by a sentry. Kendra pounces, plunging her sword into the sentry's throat. The sentry falls to the ground. Two other sentries approach, swords raised. Kendra cuts off the arm of one of the sentries along with his head. Gorfun decapitates the other. As Gorfun and Kendra move to the next room, they are met by another two sentries. A fight begins with Gorfun and Kendra, disposing of them mercilessly. Across the room, another sentry stands in front of two doors, armed with a large battle hammer. Kendra runs toward the sentry. A very difficult fight ensues. Each time he swings his hammer, the sentry barely misses Kendra. Finally, Kendra gets her moment and thrashes her sword across the sentry's throat. With another swing, the sentry is decapitated, and his head rolls across the floor. His body drops to the ground. Gorfun quickly moves to the doors, and Kendra joins him. They kick in the doors. Across the room, standing in front of the door to another room, is a well-dressed man, Thaddeus Rojan, about the age of Amadeus. Thaddeus holds a sword. Josiah enters the room.
That is whom we seek.
Josiah, tell your father I will pay.
Kill him!
Kendra approaches Thaddeus, sword raised. The sound of a child's cry is heard from behind the door that Thaddeus stands in front of. Daddy, no! Kendra's sword knocks Thaddeus' sword from his hand. The sound of the child's cry is heard again. Please! Kendra pushes Thaddeus aside and kicks in the door. On the ground of the room, two little girls, ages 6 and 8, hold each other.
Please, don't kill my daughters. They shouldn't have to pay for the sins of their father.
Kendra looks at a shocked Gorfun.
Kill him!
What of the two girls?
Kill them as well.
Both Kendra and Gorfun lower their swords. Exterior, wooded clearing.
It was in that moment that something happened. A change came over Gorfun and me. Something about those girls removed the years of blackness from our hearts. There was a father begging us not to kill his children. We couldn't kill him or the children.
Cut to interior room, night, flashback.
Kill him! Kill them all!
Kendra looks back at Gorfun. Gorfun grabs Josiah by the throat and raises him off the ground. Staring into his eyes, his lips quiver as he tries to control himself. Gorfun throws Josiah to the ground. Kendra turns to the girls. They are beyond frightened.
That was the only contract Gorfun and I never honored. It was our last.
Cut to exterior wooded clearing, night.
Gorfun and I journeyed far away beyond the reach of Amadeus until we found this land in the village. We were accepted, and that is why it is home. In fact, Lillian made us our swords. Neither Gorfun nor I wanted anything from our past life, including those weapons that had taken so many. We decided what we wanted was a child. Gorfun is always with the sword, which is why I know something is very wrong with what has happened to our men. I want Gorfun back and the chance to start a family.
We should sleep.
Yoli, can you teach Risa how to use that bow?
I can. I brought my master's bow and arrows with me. She
Good.
can use those.
Good, now let's get some rest. It's a long day tomorrow and the days to come.
Risa collects the plates from the others. She looks down at Yoli's bow nervously. Fade out. Exterior wooded clearing, day. Yoli puts an apple on a tree stump. She clears the area of the stump.
All right, just keep a steady arm.
Risa stands a distance across from the stump, aiming a bow and arrow at the apple.
Concentrate on the apple, and then release the arrow.
Yoli comes and stands next to Risa. She takes her bow from her shoulder and aims at the apple. Yoli shoots, piercing the center of the apple. She then places another apple on the tree stump. Standing once again next to Risa, Yoli aligns Risa's body into the correct position.
Right. No, that's good. Move your elbow higher. Okay. Now try not to move. Yeah, hold that position. Concentrate on the apple. And when you think it is time to shoot, don't. Wait a moment longer. Most of the time, you only get one shot. Make it count.
Seeming to ignore Yoli's instruction, Risa jerks her elbow back and lets go of the arrow. It lands on the ground about 20 paces ahead of her. Kendra and Elwyn watch from behind Risa.
Did you see that? Risa is a danger to herself and, more importantly, to us.
You blatantly ignored my instructions.
This is her first instruction. Risa stays.
She's nothing more than a tavern wench.
She is deeply committed to our quest. She will get better in time. Yoli will see to this. She just needs time.
Dissolve 2. Exterior traveling day. We see the 4 women cover different patches of land. Some are difficult and others easy. Rain begins as the sky grows dark. The rain gradually gets harder.
This rain is making it difficult to see where we're going. We need to stop for the night.
Kendra, look at the wagon.
Driving the wagon, Risa looks behind her. There is a glow coming from inside. She stops the wagon and goes inside the covering. When she steps out, Risa is holding the staff the old woman had given them at the start of their journey. It is glowing.
Remember what the old woman told us.
He must be close to us.
In front of the 4 women, a dark blue glow appears. An old man, Mensla, stands holding the twin staff. He walks closer to them.
Indeed I am. I have come to you. We should get out of this rain.
He turns and begins to walk forward, away from the women.
You should follow.
They follow the old man, and after a while, they see a small cabin in the distance. Interior cabin night. Mensla enters the cabin and the women follow behind. The door closes. Risa hands the staff to Mensla. He touches the 2 globes together, causing a blinding spark. Within the spark, we see a row of men marching out of the women's village. The globes lose their color. Mensla lays them on the ground.
Miranda said the staff would allow you to find us. We seek your help.
Finding your men. But where are my manners? Please, make yourselves comfortable.
The women find seating within the room. Elwyn remains standing.
Sit, please.
Elwyn finds a seat.
Now, the history of our people is not that clear. There are a few if any, facts. What we have are stories passed down from generation to generation.
What do past historians have to do with what has transpired now?
Let him speak.
Hundreds of years ago, our elders attempted to make sense of the stories, and they wrote them down to preserve for all time. I possess one of the few books written, but these stories seem more like fantasy.
But our men disappearing is not a fantasy.
These stories contain an answer to what has happened.
Mensla walks over to a large bookshelf and pulls down a huge book. Opening the book, he walks to the center of the room.
Our world has gone through many an upheaval. Most date back to the past in the 4 great civilizations.
Dissolve 2. Exterior coastline day. Flashback. A small group of beautiful women stare off into the sea. They They appear to be mouthing a song. A large ship appears on the horizon.
The sirens.
Dissolve to exterior battlefield, day, flashback. Two armies of one-eyed and two-eyed giants flash behind shields, brutally fighting one another.
The giants.
Dissolve to interior large chamber, day, flashback. A committee of men and women are gathered together in a chamber, seemingly debating one another.
The Amazonians.
Dissolve to exterior field, day, flashback. An array of men and women toil in a field. A little girl pulls a carrot from the ground and shows her mother.
And our kind.
Cut to interior cabin, night.
All of the civilizations exist in a rather tense peace. Clashes over territory, hunting grounds, and neighboring villages take place, but all-out war among them is for the most part avoided. The lesser civilizations, like the forest elves, survive by a series of alliances with one or more of these greater peoples.
Dissolve to exterior forest, day, flashback. Titha, a forest elf, along with 3 other forest elves, present a dead calf to a group of 4 one-eyed giants as an offering. The larger of the one-eyed giants nods his head. Titha nods and the forest elves back away. Cut to interior cabin, night.
The sirens do not mingle with the others, no, nor are there any warriors among them, but that is no matter. They possess many magics.
Cut to exterior deck of a sailing ship, day, flashback. A large sailing ship cuts through the waters. On deck, several crew members work at various duties. The captain, an aged man of the sea and dressed in a formal uniform, stands next to a young seaman who is steering the ship.
Steady as she goes. These are treacherous waters. I know a great many ships and their crews that have passed through these ways, never to be heard from again.
Aye, sir.
2 young girls, Anna and Christina, come onto the deck, followed by a well-dressed man, James Cutter, in his early 30s. The captain sees James and the 2 girls.
Hi, Mr. Cutter. I would suggest that you and your daughters go back down below. Rough seas ahead.
Anna looks out at the sea and spies a series of islands off in the distance.
Father, look! There are islands!
Cut to exterior, rocky island coast, day, flashback. Rocks cover the inner edge of an island. Like locusts, sirens position themselves on the rocks.
Sirens have sustained themselves with their abilities to control the hearts and minds of men with their songs.
The sirens begin to sing. Cut to exterior, deck of a sailing ship, day, flashback. All work on the ship stops. The crew of men stand in a daze. The seaman steering the ship begins turning the wheel of the ship towards the island where the sirens are perched. Both the seaman and the captain stare off at the island. James stands motionless behind Anna and Christina.
Father, do you hear that singing? Are we going to the island? Father! Father, are we going to the island? Why don't you answer me?
The large sailing vessel continues, heading straight towards the rocky coast of the island.
The doomed ships entering the waters of the island would be drawn by the siren song and crash upon the rocks.
The large ship enters the waters of the island. It crashes into the rocks, ripping its hull apart. The ship eventually sinks. The sirens stop their song, and our attention is drawn to one siren, Harmonia, smiling as she watches the ship go down. Cut to interior cabin, night. The 4 women are captivated. They continue to listen.
Like the name implies, the giants are a race of huge beings. Actually, there are two groups within this race of giants: the one-eyed, or the Cyclops, and the two-eyed giants. The Cyclops are vicious, vicious killers.
Cut 2. Exterior rock formation day, flashback. A middle-aged man has his back up against a large rock formation. A Cyclops steps into frame.
They often kill for the sheer joy of it.
The middle-aged man pulls out his sword. The Cyclops lunges towards him, grabbing the outstretched sword by the blade. Blood pours down his arm as he pulls the sword from the middle-aged man. The Cyclops throws the sword aside. The Cyclops grabs the middle-aged man and lifts him off his feet. The Cyclops then grabs his head and twists it off his body. The middle-aged man's body falls to the ground. The Cyclops lifts the head and stares into its eyes, smiling. He tosses it to the side. Cut 2. Interior cabin, night.
Fortunately, their numbers are dwindling, whereas the two-eyed giants seek to live in peace, while the two rarely agree. There is a weak truce between them.
I know nothing of these civilizations.
That is why you don't know what could have happened to your men.
Is there more?
Then there are the Amazonians. This is truly a remarkable race of men and women living in complete equality. Their rule of society is decided by the will of the people. They travel outside of their villages and they bring back the best of what they discover from these travels.
Cut 2. Exterior, a village marketplace day, flashback. Several men and women crowd a market.
Finally, we come to the fourth race, our kind. We are diverse and too scattered to build a unified culture. As you pointed out, our interests barely extend beyond our villages. This was the world as it existed for more than a millennium. But there has been an event recently that caused a disruption in the natural order of things.
Cut 2. Interior cabin, night. Mensla closes the book.
Listen closely. The whispers have told us that one of the sirens, known as Harmonia, decided to leave her island and venture out into the world. Taking a boat the sirens had captured and securing that crew with her song.
Exterior, deck of a sailing ship, day, flashback. Harmonia stands at the front of a large boat at sea.
Harmonia used the ship to sail away, but the seas were unfriendly.
Cut 2. Exterior, the sea, night, flashback. Caught in the middle of a storm, Harmonia's boat battles the large waves crashing against its sides.
Harmonia's boat sank near an island, with only Harmonia being the only survivor. She sang the rest of the crew to their deaths, leaving them to go down with the ship. She swam the short distance to the island and collapsed on the shore.
Cut 2. Exterior beach, day, flashback. Harmonia lies face down in the sand. A young female Amazonian, Accordia, seeing Harmonia, runs to her side and finds Harmonia to still be alive. Accordia shakes Harmonia. Harmonia awakens.
Where am I?
You are in Amazonia. My name is Accordia.
Interior, home of Accordia, day. Harmonia lies on bedding. Accordia is by her side.
Harmonia quickly regained her strength. In time, Accordia and Harmonia quickly became fast friends. Harmonia told Accordia that she was immortal. To Accordia, life among the sirens was fascinating. Harmonia was fascinating, and when Harmonia talked, Accordia listened intently.
We see scenes of Accordia and Harmonia being together. Cut 2. Interior cabin, night.
As Accordia was the daughter of one of the Amazonians' representatives of the people, Harmonia was introduced to those of great importance. She relished every moment and she ingratiated herself with everyone.
Cut to interior Accordia's house flashback. Harmonia and Accordia sit at a table with finished foods on plates.
Your openness and warmth towards me has truly been a blessing. I'm going to miss you and Amazonia.
You're leaving?
There are some aspects of this place I cannot tolerate.
I don't understand.
How can you allow men to have so much freedom?
Well, that is the way it's always been.
You are right. And who am I to question as a stranger to your land? It just seems to me that more could be done under one strong ruler, not this representative rule.
Well, I don't want you to leave.
Why?
Harmonia and Accordia stare at each other. Slowly, Harmonia leans in and she and Accordia kiss passionately.
While Harmonia had a rather fragile and submissive demeanor, there was a strong undercurrent of power and determined to will to her. Harmonia seduced Accordia to her beliefs. Was that some kind of secret siren magic? Who knows?
Cut to interior cabin, night.
In time, there was a transformation. Accordia would develop nothing but contempt for man and openly stated so to many of the other women around her.
Cut to interior hidden temple room, night, flashback. A large circle of Amazonian women sit on the floor. There are others standing behind the circle. The crowd grows.
Driven by Harmonia's influence, Accordia rallied many of the other women into the clandestine sect that met secretly in one of the hidden rooms of the temple. As time ticked on, the group was large enough to come out of the shadows.
Cut to exterior, a large tower, day, flashback. Harmonia stands atop the tower.
They chose the 11th day of the 9th moon to spring into action. Harmonia climbed to the top of the highest tower in Amazonia and sang her beckoning song. Every man within the sound of Harmonia's voice began gathering at the base of the tower. There was much confusion and grumbling among the men, but that eventually was quieted down as the song continued.
Cut to interior cabin, night.
The men were then shepherded away like lambs.
For what reasons?
That I do not know. Some whisper that it was to build a larger kingdom, a kingdom ruled by Harmonia alone.
Surely not all of the women accepted this.
Cut to exterior parade grounds, day, flashback. Large gallows are set up. 3 Amazonian women stand on the gallows with nooses around their necks. A large crowd of Amazonian women stand watching.
By this time, Harmonia and Accordia's followers had grown into a sizable army. Yes, there were opponents, but their voices were silenced publicly.
Cut to interior cabin, night.
But how could this Harmonia convince all these women to betray their men?
It is said that Harmonia used the darkest of spells on them, a type of magic unknown to me. Obviously, some could resist.
Cut to exterior parade grounds, day, flashback. The gallows trap doors open and the 3 Amazonian women are hung. Cut to interior cabin, night.
And this is what you think happened to our men? Do you think that Harmonia came to our village, then used her beckoning call to lure our men away?
Some form of dark magic was used.
How can we reach Amazonia? I'd like to ask this Harmonia.
I have an old map. It will help you on your journey. However, it only points the way. It doesn't show the many obstacles you will face. You have only your courage and determination to rely on.
Show us where to start.
Once Harmonia took over, she walled off the capital city. It is completely isolated from the outside world, I am told, by mountain ranges, cliffs, and fortified walls. It is there, I would guess, your men are being held.
I've never seen a map of our world before. Do you know of my spiritual protectress, Lyra? I was hoping you might know where I could find her and where she might be on this map.
I know of Lyra. She is powerful and a threat to Harmonia. It is said that she resides on the sacred plot of the land called the Font, just to the south after you cross the bridge from Terra Nostra into Amazonia.
Where are we on this map?
You are here.
Mensla points to a place on the map.
That's a great distance.
Mensla traces the map.
You will have to travel through the morass around the Tri-Peaks, over the bridge and across the great Amazonian plains. Once you get to the Amazonian mountain range, you will have the most precarious of your trails. The mountains cannot be climbed. There are very few passes through the mountains, and those that are existed are blocked by the guarded walls.
The sooner we get back on the road, the sooner we will make our destination.
Take the map.
Thank you. I'm sorry, but we don't even know your name.
I am called Mensla.
You are a wizard.
I am no wizard. I have no magic to offer, but I can provide you with 2 tools that may be of service to you.
Mensla walks to another shelf and removes a glass vial with a glowing green liquid inside of it.
Be careful of this first one. It is rather a strong bile that I have extracted from the stomachs of the dying. It is able to eat through the most of many objects. Do not get any of it on yourselves, or it will burn a hole straight through you.
Yoli carefully takes the vial from Mensla. Mensla goes to the door of the cabin and opens it. All step outside. Exterior, outside the cabin, night. Outside of the cabin are 4 lanterns.
These lanterns burn brightly and very slowly. There is one for each of you.
Not a wizard, you say?
Go now.
The women walk towards Risa's supply wagon. Kendra turns back to Mensla, but he and the cabin have vanished.
What? Not a wizard.
At least now we have some idea of where we're going.
But we still don't have a plan.
Fade out. We will now pause for a 10-minute intermission.
Now you go to the back.
Got the mics. Oh, hi. So yes, thank you to Banks. Please use this intermission. Grab a coffee or some snacks, or there's also an alcoholic beverage as well. And the restrooms are in the back. And we will get started with our second act in just a little bit, but just a moment as well.
We hope you're enjoying the show tonight, folks. And if you enjoyed this first half, you'll probably enjoy the book even better. So when we are done here this evening, we do have access to buying the book. So if you're interested in buying the book or Die Trying, please see me at the end of the show. Thank you.
We'll get started in just a moment, so if everyone can return to their seats. All right, everyone, welcome back. We're going to get started. Thank you all. And Act 2.
Exterior, deep forest, night. The women trudge through the forest almost trance-like. Help! Help, please! Risa stops the wagon. The women grab their weapons.
Help, please! Help!
The women stealthily move towards the voice. Elwyn leads the way. As she approaches an opening in the trees, she sees two lions clawing at a tree.
Help! Look, on the branch of the tree!
It's a forest elf! I've only ever been told of them in stories.
I'm not risking my life for some forest elf. Let's move on.
We've got to do something.
I'll take the lion on the left. You take the lion on the right.
Yoli and Risa step out from the trees, bows raised. Yoli's arrow finds its mark, striking the lion deep in the heart. The lion falls to the ground. Risa fumbles with her bow and arrow, lands to the left of the other lion. The lion rushes towards Risa, but Yoli fires off another arrow, bringing down the lion. The lion falls dead at Risa's feet. Risa clutches an arrow.
She's a liability.
You see a liability, I see a warrior in the making. Sure, she didn't get an accurate shot off, but she stood her ground with arrow in hand. I think she was planning to kill the beast with the arrow if Yoli had not killed it.
But
I need to know that you have full faith in Risa, just like we all have faith in each other.
I do.
Good. Then it's settled.
The forest elf, Malky, climbs down from the tree and approaches the women.
What is your name?
I'm called Malky, and thank you. Thank you for saving my life. I can't understand how those beasts saw me. I was invisible at the time.
Malky disappears and reappears.
Well, that's easy. You stink. You smell like you haven't had a bath since the day you were born.
Risa, start a fire. We'll be eating well this evening. Malky, you may join us if you'd like.
What is bath?
Exterior, deep forest, night. The women and Malky all sit around a fire eating.
Why are you going so deep into the wood? I rarely know of humans this deep into the forest.
We are going to Amazonia.
Amazonia. Oh, no one travels there. No one even goes to the Tri-Peaks. You are either very brave or very foolish.
Why?
It's certain death. And that's all I want to say about Amazonia.
Exterior, deep forest, morning. Yoli works with Risa on shooting the bow and arrow. Kendra and Elwyn put a kettle up on the fire to heat some water for Malky's bath.
Are you going to cook me?
Of course not. Risa couldn't even make you into something edible. This is called a bath.
And soap.
I don't like it.
Yoli stands behind Risa, who is holding the bow and arrow. Risa's face is intent.
Draw the string steadily and slowly. You rush the shot.
But will she be ready for Amazonia?
You are all very foolish.
Perhaps you know better than we do the dangers we'll face before we even get to Amazonia. I'd welcome you joining us, but we are going whether you join us or not.
You did save my life, but I see no sense in placing it in jeopardy again. I will travel with you as far as the Tri-Peaks.
Exterior, wooded trail, day.
Oh, and then they are the mystical creatures of the forest. But the worst are the giants, especially the one eyes. The two eyes have always kept the ones from being too aggressive, but now they're at war and the one eyes are winning, and that is why we shouldn't go anywhere near the Tri-Peaks.
We were told the giants did not fight amongst themselves.
That is not as what is whispered now among the trees.
An arrow speeds through the air, striking below Risa's feet on the wagon. Kendra, Elwyn, and Yoli produce their weapons. Driver, a large centaur, stands several feet ahead of the travelers with a lowered bow.
I mean you no harm. I seek only justice.
What do you mean justice? We have never encountered you.
The elf. that travels with you is a liar and a thief.
Explain yourself.
A day ago, I heard screams near my home. I chose to find the source of these screams, and then I saw the elf running towards me. He said he was being hunted by lions. I quickly grabbed the elf and placed him on top of me. He thanked me and said that he had been running for hours. I offered him food, and I took him home, where he had food my wife had made. I felt sorry for him. He begged me to stay the night, as he swore that the lions were waiting for him. When we awoke the next morning, the little food we had left was gone.
So that is how the lions found you.
I fed them all that I had.
So this is all about food. You want us to kill this elf over stolen food.
You are strangers to this land. Food is precious. Our land has been stripped of everything edible by the warring giants. That elf took all the food I had foraged for my family.
We will replace the food, but you are not going to touch or harm him. Do you understand?
I do not tolerate thieves.
We had to kill those lions. We butchered them for the meat. But without sufficient salt to preserve the meat, it is going to spoil. All of us can agree that is more food than what was stolen from you.
In a flash, a huge spear penetrates the human part of the driver, killing him instantly. Everyone dives for cover.
Split up!
Risa and Malky jump down from the wagon and follow in the direction of Kendra.
Get invisible!
Elwin and Yoli scramble to the left of Kendra, Risa, and Malky.
What is it?
Judging from the size of the spear, a giant.
Yoli, laying on the ground next to Elwin, crawls closer to her.
But what kind of giant? The one eye or the two eye? How is it that we can't see a giant?
Kendra slowly rises to her feet. She moves back onto the trail, running past the dead centaur.
Elwin, Yoli, I think our giant is gone. Come over to me. Why would the giant just kill the centaur?
Elwin and Yoli meet Kendra down the path.
Maybe it only had one spear.
Kendra wanders off the trail towards where the spear was thrown.
Elwin!
Elwin follows Kendra's path. Kendra is bent over, looking down at the ground.
Look, these are definitely the footprints of a giant.
Yoli joins them. She bends down to also examine the tracks.
No use in following. His pace is 10 times that of ours.
There must be another trail near here.
Why would we want to follow?
Maybe it's a quicker way to the Tri-Peaks.
Let me go back to the wagon and look at the map. Maybe we can see if turning this direction would save us time.
Kendra exits.
I'm going to move further on a little ways, just to see if what I suspect is true.
I'll go with you.
Elwin and Yoli move further and further into the forest. Elwin continues to look down at the ground sporadically, following the large tracks left by the giant.
Did you hear that?
They move a few paces further. A large cage swoops up on Yoli and Elwin. They hang in midair. Exterior wooded trail day. Kendra, Risa, and a now visible Malky climb aboard the wagon. Kendra looks at the map.
We should follow from the east.
Oh no! We're getting close to the Tri-Peaks!
Shut your mouth, Elf, or I will shut it for you.
The wagon turns the corner on a large boulder. On the other side of the boulder, Darusa, a two-eyed giant, is bound.
Go back! Save yourselves!
What happened here?
Risa stops the wagon.
I came across two one-eyed giants attacking a village of centaurs. I tried to fight them both off. I killed one, but was overpowered by the other.
Kendra! Risa! Help!
That's Elwin. Risa, get your bow and follow me.
Kendra reaches behind her into the wagon and produces the small bottle given to them earlier by Mensla. She hands the bottle to Malky.
Be careful. Just pour a few drops in each of the giant's chains. Be careful not to touch you or the giant.
Cut 2. Exterior, new trail, day. Inside of the cage, Elwyn and Yoli pace the four corners. Yoli, holding her bow, scours the surrounding area below. Elwyn has her sword raised. From out of the bush, a large one-eyed giant, Carmack, steps forward, eyeing Elwyn and Yoli in the cage.
What is this?
Release us from this cage and find out.
And who are we?
I am Elwyn, and this is Yoli, and we mean you no harm if not warranted. I could plunge an arrow deep into his heart. If you do that, we'll never get out of this cage. He's going to do something with us, and when he does, that's when we'll make our move. Kendra and Risa are not that far away.
Carmack begins gathering the stones spread on the ground. He sets them in a circle. Quickly, he makes a roaring fire in the center of the circle. A large spear lays next to him.
There. Now your dinner.
Elwyn looks at Yoli.
Kendra! Risa!
Cut 2. Exterior, new trail. From the bush, Risa and Kendra watch Carmack methodically make his fire.
You have to free them from that cage. Shoot the rope holding the cage. The fall won't hurt them. I will deal with the giant.
But every target I have attempted has failed.
You can do this.
Risa picks up her bow and places the arrow.
You can do this.
Kendra rushes out of the bush, sword raised.
Giant!
Carmack turns to face Kendra.
More dinner.
Risa raises her bow.
Steady, aim, take your time, take more time. Oh, Lyra, help me.
Risa lets her arrow fly, severing the rope. The cage comes down, smashing to pieces, but freeing Elwyn and Yoli. Carmack grabs his spear and lunges towards Kendra. Kendra charges at him, but is swatted away by Carmack's hand. Risa steps out of the bush, raising her bow towards Carmack. From behind her, DiPersia runs toward Carmack, blocking her shot. The giants exchange blows. A battle between the giants ensues, with DiPersia managing to catch Carmack under the chin that sends him to the ground. Carmack quickly gets up, raising his spear towards DiPersia. Now, with a clear shot, Risa lets go of her arrow, which goes straight into Carmack's eye. Carmack drops his spear, screaming in pain. DiPersia picks up the spear and plunges it into the throat of Carmack. Carmack falls to the ground. Kendra kicks the body of Carmack.
Thank you. Thank you for saving our lives.
It was you that has saved my life. It's going to leave me chained to the mercy of the wolves. But it was your friend. That arrow that really was our salvation.
Yes, it was.
Approaching the others, Yoli and Elwyn stare down at Carmack's body.
Yes! Well done, Risa!
Agreed. Thank you.
What do we call you?
I am DiPersia.
DiPersia, I am Kendra. She is Yoli. This is Elwyn, and this is Risa. We are here to journey to Amazonia. To free our men who have been taken from us against their will. We could use your strength.
My debt is paid to you. I will be honored to go with you. However, we giants have made a pact with the Amazonians, never to step foot on their lands. We honor our oaths. I will go with you as far as the river.
Having been invisible during the fighting, Malky reappears and joins the group.
Whew. Don't forget, I am with you as well.
Then it's settled.
Dissolve 2. Exterior forest trails, day. We see our travelers move steadily towards Amazonia. The day fades and the group makes camp as night falls. Risa serves everyone a dish and then sits next to Elwyn in front of the fire. Conversation begins as Kendra talks with DiPersia and Yoli.
When we started this quest, I opposed your being of any true help. I felt that you did not possess any good skills and that you were a liability to our safety. But you helped save our lives, and for that, I am ever thankful. You made the shot. Thank you.
You're right. I do not have the skills. I don't know how I made that shot severing the rope or how I hit the eye of the giant. What I do know is that I sought the help of my spiritual protectress, Lyra, and I am deeply committed to our quest.
I knew you could teach Risa how to shoot an arrow.
Well, now I am a good teacher. Now I taught Risa the basics, but I doubt that I could have made the shot the way that she did.
I don't understand.
Risa had to be more than 200 paces away from her target and to stand her ground in the face of the one-eyed giant and get an accurate shot at his eye took not only skill, but courage. I think we all underestimated Risa.
Aye.
Malky sits next to Jerusa.
I also am going as far as the river. Do you think after we could reach there, you could escort me home through the tri-peaks and the morass? I feel much safer with you.
You helped save my life. Of course I will.
Fade out. Exterior wooded area day. A river rages. Off to its sides are the remains of a bridge which has been damaged. The group stops at the edge of the river to examine what's left of the bridge.
We can swim this river, but the horse and wagon will have to stay behind.
Kendra stoops down and sticks her arm into the water.
The current is swift but strong. We can't swim this. I also want to leave the horse and wagon.
I can carry you across in several trips, including the horse and the wagon, but I cannot set foot on the shore or the other side of the river.
Then there's our solution.
Jerusa carries the women, horse and wagon across the river, nearly losing his footing several times. As the women begin to move into Amazonia, Risa looks behind her and watches as Jerusa and Malky stare at the travelers and watch them move forward.
What do you think?
I don't know if we'll ever see them again.
Alive.
Cut 2. Exterior outskirts of Amazonia. The women continue forward. Yoli leads the way.
You did say we would find Lyra, my spiritual protectress.
The old man's map indicates that she should be found near here, but we won't go out of our way into danger.
They travel further.
Kendra, look ahead of us.
Almost hidden by the trees, Kendra sees a circle of ruins. Standing in the middle of the circle is Lyra, an elderly woman. Risa stops the wagon and jumps to the ground. She runs past Kendra, Elwin, and Yoli towards Lyra. Before reaching the ruins, Risa drops to the ground and bows her head.
Get up, little one. You should not kneel before me.
Risa gets up slowly.
Come forward, children.
Elwin jumps onto the wagon, moving it forward. Kendra walks in front of the wagon while Yoli follows from behind. Everyone is at the ruins. Risa gets back on her knees.
I know of why you are here. You have many battles ahead of you. But I can be of assistance. But before I tell you how, I need a moment with Risa.
Kendra, Elwin, and Yoli move to the back to the wagon.
Come, child.
I must ask, why do you stay here?
I chose to remain here for a very good reason. My mother was a very powerful, holy woman, as was her mother before her. Our family passes the mantle of those powers from mother to daughter. But neither of them could have the powers at the same time. As such, the transfer of power only happens upon the death of the mother.
Cut 2. Exterior in Amazonian City Street, day. Flashback. A door is kicked open by a female Amazonian guard. The Amazonian guard rushes into the building, followed by 2 other Amazonian guards. A woman in her late 30s, Aletha, is dragged out into the street. The 3 Amazonian guards encircle her.
When the Amazonian women took over, knowing my mother's power, they killed her.
The 3 Amazonian guards raised their swords and began striking Aletha.
What they didn't realize was that her power transferred to me.
Cut to exterior ruins day.
By the time they found out and hunted me down, I had managed to protect my daughter, entrusting her to my most devoted followers and her husband. When the Amazonians captured me, they threatened to kill every female child in the kingdom. I convinced them that. How would they know that they had the right girl? However, in exchange, I was banished to these grounds, having to swear an oath that I would never leave. And so I stay, not bound by chains, but bound by my oath. Risa, come, embrace your mother.
My mother?
Yes, child.
Risa stands and they embrace.
I always dreamt of your face and what you would look like.
Wonder no more. You know that this is so.
Risa and Lyra embrace again. Risa is overcome.
Now, my daughter, we must address the business at hand. Kendra, there are two ways into the Amazonian stronghold. The main gates and the tunnels. The main gates I fear not, because not even the giants can get through those.
What can you tell us about the tunnels?
They are not guarded from the outside. I have never heard of anyone that has entered and has returned again.
Then the tunnels are the only way.
Legend is that the tunnels lead to an underground chamber. The chamber is supposed to be the realm of the Medusa and her minions. The Medusa is said to be unstoppable and unforgivable.
Do we even have a chance?
You have a weapon more powerful than the Medusa.
Lyra turns her back and begins to walk away. Risa rushes up behind her.
Mother, what weapon is that?
You, my dear child. You are the weapon. You and your powers.
I have no powers.
Your powers that are passed down from mother to daughter are the most formidable. The powers are so feared by the Amazonians that they were willing to kill all of the girls in Amazonia and Tasmania just to eliminate this threat.
Wow, how would I even be able to use these powers?
To wield those powers, you must clear your heart and your mind of your fear. Your powers may only be used to protect, not destroy. You are mortal. My work is done. I have waited patiently for you as it was foretold. And now I have but one thing left in my life.
Lyra quickly steps away from Risa and turns to face her.
But in order for me to have those powers, you would have to...
Reaching under her shawl, Lyra removes a dagger and drives it deep into her chest. Her body falls to the ground. Risa rushes to her and cradles her head.
Just as I met you, I lost you.
Please, use your powers to protect your daughter. I know you are with child.
Please, don't go!
Kendra goes to Risa, who is now holding the lifeless body of her mother.
I never got the chance to be with her, to know her, to love her.
Fade out. Exterior ruins day. The four women stand around a freshly dug grave.
We cannot pretend we understand this power that Lyra spoke of for Risa. What we do know is that she sacrificed herself in order for you to have it. There is no greater love than a mother has towards her child. We know that she loved you, and that love will never be broken. Lyra sacrificed herself for you, Risa, and for what we are doing. We won't break her faith in us or her love for you. We must move forward.
Dissolve to
Exterior, outskirts of Amazonia, day. We see a montage of the women traveling. Dissolve to exterior, outskirts of Amazonia, night. The four reach a series of cliffs. They follow the foot of the cliffs and approach the opening to a cave.
This is it. Grab your weapons and the lanterns. We'll leave the wagon here. Yoli, take the bottle that was given to us by the old man. We are going in.
With lanterns lit, Yoli, Kendra, Risa, and Elwyn enter the cave. Cut to interior cave night. Shadows flicker against the walls.
The entrance to this cave is too narrow.
The four women continue deeper inside the cave.
The rocks beneath us are brittle.
Elwyn lowers her lantern towards the ground.
Those aren't rocks. They're bones.
From out of the shadows, a boar-like monster appears.
Yoli, shoot that creature down! The rest of you, hold your lanterns high! Give her light!
Yoli's arrow hits the creature between the eyes, but it bounces off without slowing the pursuit. Yoli grabs Elwyn's other sword and runs towards the creature. Turning, Yoli leaps to the top of a large rock. Barely setting foot on the rock, Yoli drops downward, landing on top of the beast. Yoli plunges her sword deep into the neck of the creature, and it falls to the ground, dead.
What is that thing? Do you think there are more of them?
It's possible, but we have to continue on. It looks like the cave's opening gets a little larger further on.
The women inch their way deeper into the cave. Skeletal remains become a more frequent sight. After several twists and turns, the ground beneath them becomes paved with polished stone, leading to a large opening. Two columns with large oil-burning pots break up the darkness. A herd of the boar-like creatures begins to charge them. Yoli fires off 2 arrows, which bounce off their targets. Risa's arrows miss the creatures entirely. Kendra raises her sword. Right before the creatures reach them, they suddenly become encased in a glowing green orb. The orb shrinks the beast right before their eyes. The creatures shrink to the size of mice. Kendra puts down her sword and kneels to look at the shrunken creatures.
Kendra!
Kendra turns towards Yoli, who is holding a collapsed Risa.
She passed out.
What happened?
You collapsed.
I don't know. I tried to kill the beast, but I couldn't. Then I remembered what my mother told me. I couldn't use my powers to kill. So I tried to make them harmless. I felt as if my mother, her mother, and her mother's mother were all inside me. The feeling was overwhelming. That's the last I remember.
Can you stand?
I think so.
Risa stands up.
This place is evil.
Maybe so, but we have to keep going. Think of what we are after and who we are trying to save.
As the women continue, the cave begins to transform, taking the appearance of a palace. Risa rushes ahead of the others.
We must stop. Why? My magic has allowed me to see that this is the hall of the Medusa. You must never look into the eyes of the Medusa. You will die. In the next chamber ahead is the Medusa.
All of us believe in you. I have a plan that'll trust your magic with my life.
We will fight.
Blindfold me. That will keep me from instinctively looking at the Medusa. She is all that stands between us and the Amazonian stronghold. I will keep my mind open to suggestions from Risa.
I can't promise that I can break through.
I have faith in you. You will protect me.
We should face the Medusa together.
I have to agree with Elwyn. We have strength together.
Kendra tears a length of her garment and makes a blindfold.
Should something happen to me, that's where our strength in numbers come in. You must keep going and continue our mission.
Elwyn takes the material and ties the blindfold on Kendra, who keeps it above her eyes. Elwyn steps back. Kendra bolts forward. Cut to interior main chamber of the Medusa, night. The Medusa, a worm-like figure with the torso of a woman, is atop a stone platform. Her eyes glow a blistering red. She holds a large battle axe. Kendra studies the layout of the chamber, then pulls her blindfold down.
Welcome! Your little bitch's magic will not work in my presence. I am afraid you are quite alone. I am more powerful than you can imagine.
Kendra raises her sword.
Many mortals have dared to enter. None have left alive. You have come to an end, but my cauldron awaits.
The Medusa looks over at a large cauldron at the left of the chamber. Fire roars from within it. Sword raised, Kendra rushes towards the sound of Medusa's voice.
I'm faithing you, Risa!
Cut 2. Interior cave outside of the Medusa's chamber, night. Risa's body jerks and both Elwyn and Yoli hold on to her.
There's something blocking me. I must find the strength and the power to overcome.
Cut 2. Interior main chamber of the Medusa, night. Kendra and the Medusa engage in a prolonged fight. Steel flashes. Both the Medusa and Kendra defend themselves from one another. The Medusa realizes that Risa's magic has broken through.
This magic! You wield an ancient magic stronger than mine! Not to worry! The blindfold may save you from my eyes. But not my ass!
Kendra and the Medusa continue to fight. Again, each of them repels the other.
But I can!
Kendra steps away from the Medusa, raising her sword above her head. Kendra lunges forward, plunging her sword underneath the neck of the Medusa. The Medusa screams and falls to the ground. Kendra leaps on the Medusa and in one swift moment decapitates her. Cut 2. Interior cave outside of the Medusa's chamber, night. Yoli and Elwyn hold a trembling Risa.
Kendra has defeated the Medusa. I must warn her.
Risa closes her eyes.
Don't remove the blindfold.
Cut 2. Interior main chamber of the Medusa, night. Kendra is still on top of the Medusa. She hears Risa in her head.
Even dead, the Medusa's eyes are deadly if gazed upon. You must destroy her head. In the chamber is a large cauldron to your left. I will guide you towards it. You will feel the heat of the fire from the cauldron. Take the head and put it into the flame.
Kendra removes herself from the Medusa and feels for the severed head. Grabbing it, she begins to move towards the left. Kendra approaches the cauldron and stops in front of it. We can see that the Medusa's eyes are moving back and forth as Kendra holds the head.
Drop the head into the flame.
The Medusa's eyes widen. Kendra drops the head into the flames. The flames shoot higher as the head enters them. Kendra tears off the blindfold and runs to her comrades in the outer chamber. Cut 2. Interior cave outside of the Medusa's chamber, night. Yoli and Elwyn are still holding Risa.
I think I can stand by myself. My strength is returning.
Yoli and Elwyn let go of Risa.
The Medusa told me your magic wouldn't work on her, but I knew it would.
I'm thankful.
Let's go! Our men are waiting for us!
The four move quickly towards the Medusa's chamber. Interior cave pathways, day. We follow the four women as the lamps light their way through the winding and twisting pathways of the cave.
Raise your lamps and look ahead.
The other three raise their lamps.
It's a stairway.
And it goes up.
The four ascend the stairs. The large boulder blocks the exit of the stairs. Light streams out from under it.
That is unmovable. We have to find another way.
Unmovable? Risa?
I could try.
Risa closes her eyes. The boulder begins to shake. Cracks form. The boulder crumbles. Light from the outside blankets the stairwell. The women step inside of the opening. Interior warehouse-like room, day. The area is a large storehouse. A series of openings acting as windows lay across the room on the wall. Yoli approaches one of the openings, surveying the outside.
This has got to be an Amazonian stronghold. There are large crossbows mounted at the top of the walls with archers manning them. We are across from the walls, separated by a large courtyard. At some point, we are going to need to knock them out.
It's too light to leave this place. We'll be spotted for sure. Let's wait till morning, and we'll wait here till it's dark, and then we'll go.
I have a plan. We'll cause a distraction. Elwin, you must climb to the top of the high tower where you'll take out the sentry.
How do I reach the top?
Risa closes her eyes.
There's a doorway leading up to the top of the tower, but be warned, it's guarded. Yoli, once Elwin has taken the sentry, your arrows will take out the archers. I'll deal with the ballistic crossbows.
Risa closes her eyes again. She opens her eyes.
Somewhere within this area are men. I can feel them. They're in some sort of mental paralysis. I don't think they're conscious. I can't see their exact location. Kendra, you'll find them. They are here.
If they are here, I will find them. Risa, it's a good plan. Now we wait for darkness to fall.
Fade out. Interior warehouse-like room, night. Elwin is propped up against a wall, asleep. Kendra leans down and shakes her.
It's time.
Cut to exterior courtyard, night. Elwin jumps down onto the courtyard. Under darkness, she sprints towards the tower. Exterior outside tower, night. Elwin presses up against the wall of the tower and follows it around. There is a doorway, but outside of the doorway are 2 female guards. Elwin shrinks back behind the wall.
I was warned.
Elwin bursts from behind the wall, charging the guards. She jumps and lands on one of the guards' neck, crushing it instantly. The other guard raises her sword and a fight ensues. After a long battle, Elwin's blade finds the neck of the guard, slashing it wide open. The guard drops to the ground. Quickly, Elwin drags the bodies inside the doorway. Interior, inside tower, night. Elwin drags the bodies of the 2 female guards and lays them up against the wall. Elwin looks around and sees stairs leading upward. She runs toward them and begins to climb. Elwin reaches the top of the stairway. There is an opening leading out to the top of the tower. Standing outside of the opening is a female sentry. Elwin races towards the sentry, but the sentry is quick and pushes Elwin back. They begin to fight, and Elwin grabs the sentry around the neck, silently strangling her. Cut to interior warehouse-like room, night. Yoli and Kendra stare out of the opening at the tower. Risa's eyes are closed.
I can see Elwin. She has control of the tower. Now it's our turn.
Exterior top of the wall, night. The female archers hold their positions on top of the wall. In a matter of minutes, each falls to the ground with arrows to their heart. Exterior courtyard, night. We follow an arrow as it flies through the air. The arrow bursts into flames. The arrow strikes a ballista crossbow, and crossbow catches fire. Standing next to Yoli, Risa shoots another arrow at a ballista crossbow. The arrow erupts into flames and sets another crossbow ablaze.
One more.
I got it.
Risa fires her arrow, hitting her target. The ballista crossbow begins to catch fire. Exterior, top of the wall, night. With an arrow through her shoulder, an archer turns the flaming ballista crossbow towards Yoli and Risa's position on the courtyard. She fires the crossbow. Exterior courtyard, night. We follow the crossbow's arrow. It heads straight for Risa. Risa sees the arrow coming toward her and stands frozen. From behind her, Elwin kicks Risa to the ground, and the arrow plunges into Elwin's chest. Elwin falls to the ground, dead. Yoli runs over to Elwin and raises her lifeless body. Risa is in shock.
She's dead.
Risa and Yoli become surrounded by Amazonian guards. The guards grab both Risa and Yoli and drag them off. Risa looks back at the body of Elwin. Fade out. Interior cell, night. The cell door swings open, and Risa and Yoli are pushed inside. Kendra is sitting on the ground.
Oh. They found you.
I got 2 of them. Where's Elwyn?
She's dead. She saved my life by taking an arrow that was meant for me.
I saw our men. They appear to be fine, but in some sort of a trance. If we defeat Harmonia, the trance will be broken.
And how do we do that from in here?
The cell door is opened and Harmonia appears. 3 guards follow behind her.
Why are you here?
You have our men!
And you are here to free them?
That's the plan!
That was your plan, and it has failed. I have many men. As for your men, they will be helping me expand the borders of Amazonia. I plan on eradicating the giants and taking their land. Why sacrifice Amazonians when all I have to do is sing and raise an army of loyal soldiers?
Our men won't fight for you.
Your men will do anything I ask. But you and the others will never get to see that. It's quite obvious that you plan to harm me and what I have built here in Amazonia. Like all enemies, you will be dealt with quickly and severely. This one, she shall die first, so that the others may watch. Prepare the gallows and don't ask for mercy. None will be given.
We won't!
Guards, escort these 3 to the city square. Take their weapons. They should have a nice addition for the men as they do battle. The irony is delicious.
Guards surround Yoli, Kendra, and Risa. They push them out of the cell with Harmonia leading the way. Cut to exterior city square, day. On a platform, we see a gallows. A guard stands next to the lever for the gallows. Kendra, Yoli, and Risa stand next to each other. They are now bound at the ankles with their hands behind their backs. Risa has a rope around her neck. A crowd has gathered to watch. Harmonia steps up on the platform.
You see before you 3 enemies of Amazonia. They have tried to destroy what you and I have created here. They have tried to destroy the future of Amazonia. For that, they will die.
Harmonia approaches the guard at the lever and pushes her aside.
In the name of the people of Amazonia, I will see to this personally.
Harmonia grabs onto the lever. Several Amazonian soldiers run to the platforms.
There are giants at the gates.
Fire the ballistic crossbows.
They have been destroyed.
Everyone to the gates.
Harmonia pulls the lever, leaving the platform. She doesn't notice the outcome. The trap door opens and Risa falls to the ground. The rope around her neck has been cut. Her weight breaks the rope.
How?
The how is simple!
Malky appears atop the crossbeam of the gallows. He holds a knife. The elf jumps down from the crossbeam and cuts the women free.
On our journey back, Drusa and I talked our situation over, and we couldn't abandon you on your quest. We went to the elders of the giants and convinced them that the Amazonians' truce was not fair, but an insult, and that it could not be trusted.
We need our weapons, quick!
Cut to exterior city gates, day. Giants push on the gates, breaking through. The Amazonian soldiers try to fight them back, but they are too large and strong. Above the gates on the wall, Harmonia watches what is happening to her army.
Push them back, and fight!
The Amazonians are no match for the giants who advance into the city.
I must sing. It is the only way.
Enough of your singing, bitch!
Kendra stands on the wall pathway facing Harmonia.
Singing isn't the only magic I possess.
She raises her hand. Kendra feels her arm holding the sword go limp. The sword drops out from her grasp.
Now, pick up your sword and use it on yourself.
Kendra struggles, but her arm reaches for the sword. Kendra picks up the sword and turns the blade on herself. Kendra's arm shakes as she struggles to control it, but the magic is too powerful. Her arm moves the blade towards her stomach. Kendra feels the sword beginning to push itself inward, piercing her clothing.
Kill yourself.
2 arrows cut through Harmonia's back, bursting through her chest. Harmonia drops to her knees. Standing behind Harmonia is Yoli, her bow still raised. Harmonia falls to the side. Cut to interior cell day. Men stand motionless in their cell. Suddenly, they come out of their trance. They begin to question where they are and what happened. Cut to exterior city gates, day. Kendra approaches the lifeless body of Harmonia. She pushes the body onto the fighting below. Slowly, all of the fighting stops. The giants stare down the Amazonians, who one by one drop their swords and weapons.
Let's go to our men!
Cut to interior cell, day. The door to the cell is opened, and Kendra, Yoli, and Risa enter. After searching, Kendra finds Gorfun, and they embrace.
I missed you.
What happened? Why are we here?
It's a very long story, and I will tell you. But we have matters to attend to first.
Kendra reaches over and pulls Gorfun close. She kisses him intensely. Yoli finds Balak. They embrace.
I don't know what happened or how I have come to this place. I do know that I am glad to be here with you. And you know that when I return to our village, I will be preparing to go back out to sea. But this time will be different.
Why is that?
I'll be taking you with me if you'll go.
I love you too.
Risa approaches Kendra. She waits for Gorfun and Kendra to stop kissing.
I love you so much.
Kendra, can we speak?
Kendra and Risa step to the side away from Gorfun.
What of Elwyn? We can't leave her here.
What do you suggest?
Cut to exterior ruins, day. Kendra, Gorfun, Yoli, Balak, Malki, Darusa, Risa, and Dresnor stand around a freshly dug grave at the ruins where they encountered Lyra. The grave lies next to Lyra's grave. All of them stand there for a few moments. As they leave, there is a marker above Elwyn's grave which reads, Elwyn, courageous friend. She died trying. Fade out. The end.
We're going to just take a quick cast photo right here. So if I can get our cast together. Squeeze in on this stage.
Here, also raise it.
There's no sirens up here, are there?
What are we doing? Oh, okay.
All right, thank you all. What a man, our cast. It's incredible. Thank you to our men audience members for really great work on there. Woo! Thank you to Binks for being an amazing place for us. And now we'd like to invite Tony Taylor, our screenwriter, and Tom Viola, our graphic novelist, to the stage for a Q&A. To the stage. I guess any burning questions? Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, are there any questions? My name is Tom. Oh, yes. I was just going to say, my name is Tom Viola. And about 15 years ago, I produced this graphic novel. I must say it came to me rather quickly. You may have seen elements maybe of Tolkien in it. And I guess I was deeply turned on by it. But anyway, I did all of the illustrations, all of the page layouts. The only thing I didn't do was print it. But the book is available on Amazon, and if anybody is interested, I have the links to where you can get it on Amazon. But the book stood on my coffee table for a very long time. And one day, this person contacts me and says, would you like to appear or would you like to take part in a podcast? Sure, why not? So I do the podcast, and it was supposed to be about, at that time, I had 4 graphic novels out. Instead of talking about all 4 graphic novels, we stayed on this one for almost an entire hour. 2 weeks later, this gentleman calls me and says, I received very good comments on the podcast. Would you meet with me for coffee in Orlando? Sure, why not? So go to the place that he recommended for coffee. He's sitting outside, and on the table, I notice, is my book. And he says, well, before we get started, I'd like to ask a favor. I says, oh? He says, yes, I'd like your permission to write the screenplay to your graphic novel. So I says, okay, on 2 conditions. 1, you don't change the characters, and 2, you don't change the story. And
it's like a true up.
He agreed, and the first several pages he sent to me like lightning. And they were fantastic. I was approving them. I made maybe 1 or 2 suggestions. And then there was a lull. And as we found out, this gentleman has all 10 of his fingers into different projects. And so the latter pages took quite a while before they came to me, but eventually, I'm not embarrassing you. But eventually they did come to me. And we entered them into 3 screenplay contests: New York, Miami, and Montreal. New York and Miami, it came in 3rd place. Now, none of this would have happened without a screenplay. I mean, this would have stayed on a bookshelf, would not have gone much further. And so I'd like to really pay homage to this gentleman here, Tony. Okay, number one, there's over 200 full-color images in here. I cannot draw. And this was long before AI hit the internet. There is a program that I discovered on the internet called DAZ 3D. And it didn't take me too long to become a little competent in it. By that I mean I was doing stories of about 2 or 3 images, and that was it. And I was getting some nice comments. They were mostly comical. Then I gave my son a gift. He was telling me that he was going to buy a couch for his apartment, but he couldn't get the couch through the door. So I suggested go to IKEA. And so in this cartoon that I did for him, I have him going to IKEA, getting the crate outside the door, but then he puts the couch together before he goes inside the apartment. And so he's faced with the exact same problem. He can't get it through the door. He really enjoyed that, so much so that after a while I gave him another one. And the other one was a little strange. This guy lives near this park, and in the park there is a statue of this beautiful woman, and he sort of takes it upon himself to look after it. So whenever there's bird droppings on the shoulder, he would clean it off. And this was going on for a long time. And one time, as he's cleaning off the bird droppings, he finds himself leaning in close and kissing the statue on her lips. Well, the next thing he knows, the lips feel warm, and before he knows it, they're both on the ground making love. Well, he sort of snaps out of it, and the statue is back where it was before all of this happened. So he says, all right, I'm getting too much into this. So he decides not to come back for a while. He stays away for about 5, 6, 7, or 8 months. Finally, he can't, and he has to go see the statue again. He goes to go look at the statue, and the statue's pregnant. By the way, those 2 short stories I put at the end of one of my graphic novels because it was a little short. I like to give my reader at least 100 pages, and one of my stories was a little short. So I asked my son permission to put his gift in there, and he did. He did give me permission. But after a while, I decided, gee, if I could do these short little stories, maybe I could do a graphic novel. And that's when this came. Yes?
Tony, what attracted you to this story?
When we were doing the podcast, he was explaining the story, and the heroes were 4 distinct women. And I just loved the fact that it was a female-centric story that treated the characters with respect. Each of them had a different personality. Each of them had a different drive. And that's really, honestly, what I was attracted to by the story, was that finally we have a story that has 4 women in it that are heroes, that are treated realistically, that have great personalities, great characters, and a great quest and a great story. So that's what attracted me to the story.
Any other questions? Yes.
What happened to Lillian? Did he just die or disappear at the end of things? I tried to figure that out.
No, Ilium was there at the end of the story. As a matter of fact, at one point, he dropped some of the characters. And,
you're killing me.
and I said, no, you got to put them back. Also missing was a dog. Elwyn was not only a great tracker, but she had help. She had this dog. And the dog was always with the horse and carriage, the cart. And when they went into the caves, the dog stayed with the cart. And at one point, when the women were talking about how to get to the top of the tower, they said, well, if we had a rope. So Elwyn says, well, we do have a rope. It's with my dog. So Risa says, all right, if you whisper in my ear that you want the dog to bring the rope here, the dog will bring it here. And sure enough, the dog brings the rope there, and that's how they get to the top of the tower in my story. He changed it a bit. By that time, I was so glad that it was done. I said, okay, I won't bother with that.
I love dogs, Michael. I love dogs. I have 2 of them. No, it was, I don't know, Tom.
It was just too much.
It was just a change.
Oh, by the way, if anybody is interested in either the hard copy of the book or the Kindle version, I have pieces of paper with the link on it, so you could go straight to.
Over on the end table, so.
Oh, question.
What was your feeling when you found out it was produced on stage and when you see it going forward in the future?
Wow. I was really floored by this presentation. First of all, the cast was fantastic. This is words and pictures. It's not alive. You guys brought it to life in such a way that I really felt it and made me feel good. Like I said, I was inspired by the Tolkien books. I read the books and I saw the movies. Now, Tolkien's quest was by some ugly hobbits. I brought it up a notch. Did you have a question? Oh, no.
Any other questions?
I guess, there's always, usually there's typically like a voice of like the author, like a character that represents like kind of their closest. Is there a character in there that is kind of like you? And I'll ask that for both of
I don't know. I can't fire an arrow. I can't work a sword. A lot of me always favored Risa. As a matter of fact, in one of my other stories, takes place several generations later, but it's the same lineage. Yeah, as you found out in the story, Risa is with child, and she eventually has a child, and she has a child, and she has a child. In one of my other stories, one of the women from that lineage gives birth to twins, and the powers get passed on to the oldest daughter. So one daughter was just a few moments older than the other. The younger daughter, who was completely evil, and this story is about a very evil person called Espiritu Mali, and she winds up killing her sister, her older sister, so that she would then be in line for the power, and then kills her mother. And so by killing them, she winds up with the powers that are passed down through the generations. So that idea, that concept comes through again of the mystical powers being passed down from mother to daughter.
How about you, Tom? Did you identify with somebody?
Did I what? I'm sorry?
Did you identify with us?
I identify more with Risa. Like he said, I can't cast a sword or shoot an arrow or anything like that.
Nor could we conjure any magic.
I can't conjure magic here. But I just found her character, I love the growth in her character throughout the story. I mean, she presents herself as someone who's inadequate and insecure about herself, and finds her voice, finds her strength, finds her power. And she literally does have power. So I love that development.
And before Risa gets the powers from her mother, I think one of the things we saw about her that I really liked, and you almost left out, that scene.
I'm going to sit over here.
That scene where the lions are charging, and Risa, even though she did not get a shot off, or at least a good shot off, she stood her ground with the arrow. And as much as Elwyn wanted to get rid of her, because she was a threat to the group because she couldn't fire the bow and arrow, Kendra says, look, you could teach her to fire an arrow, but you can't teach her courage. She already has courage. And I think that was another thing that made me identify with Risa. I am so courageous.
No, I'm not.
Yes. I'm sorry, say that again? Well, I thought that Elwyn giving up her life for Risa made sense. It just solidified how far she's come to respect Risa. And since the book is called Or Die Trying, I thought it was only fitting that it be on the gravestone, that, you know, she came all this way and she died trying.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us stage this, and thank you both for the evolution of this story. It's kind of really cool to see it come from graphic novel to screenplay to here. So yeah, if you liked what you saw, please give us a follow. Keep track of us. We're out there, all the Line Studio and Incubator. We do this every last Monday of the month here at Binks. We also have lots of projects going on, so please check out our website, all the line studio at allthelinestudio.com, and check us out on all the socials. And yeah, we hope to see you again. Thank you all and have a great evening.